as the Minnesota Vikings head to the NFL Scouting Combine this week, helping quarterback Teddy Bridgewater figures to be their top priority. Hi, I'm ESPN Vikings reporter Ben Goessling, and fixing a passing game that was 31st in the league last season is certainly among the Vikings' top needs as they look to build an offense that's balanced enough to complement Adrian Peterson. Bridgewater has spent the better part of 2 seasons running for his life, and the Vikings know they need to fix their offensive line. They switched offensive line coaches already from Jeff Davidson to Tony Sparano, and they figure to be looking for upgrades along that line as they wait to see if injured starters like John Sullivan and Phil Loadholt will be part of that mix next season. If they're not, the Vikings certainly need to look at a couple of upgrades, possibly at right tackle where TJ Clemmings struggled last season, and they could be looking at players like Kansas State's Cody Whitehair to help with their guard group as they try to get some more interior push for Peterson in the middle of that line. One thing General Manager Rick Spielman talked about last week as a word of caution is that there are so many offensive linemen now that are coming out of spread offenses where they're playing standing up and they don't really have to push people downfield as much as they would in a traditional system. It takes a while for those players to project in the NFL, and anyone the Vikings would draft along the offensive line could be a guy that takes a year or two to develop. That is why Spielman said a lot of his philosophy is to continue to bring linemen in to create competition in hopes that you hit on a couple of them. The Vikings also need to look at addressing the wide receiver position, especially if Mike Wallace figures to hit the road rather than making $11.5 million next season after a disappointing 2015 season in Minnesota. The Vikings could use a number one target for Bridgewater. Wallace didn't turn into that last season, and if he comes back, it would be on a reduced contract, so that position certainly could look for an upgrade as the Vikings try to boost that passing game next season. Those seem to be the Vikings' big priorities. They have a defense that ranked 6th in the league last season. They won the NFC North in spite of a one-dimensional offense, and if they get to a point where they have more balance, they think they can be a contender in the NFC next year. Getting to that point will begin at the Combine as the Vikings look for ways to help Bridgewater and revive the passing game. That figures to be where they spend a lot of their time in Indianapolis next week. We'll have coverage from Indianapolis throughout the NFL all week, so keep checking ESPN's NFL Nation for the latest from the Combine. I'm ESPN Vikings reporter Ben Goessling. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.